Hey everyone, this is James Roguski, and today is March 27th, 2026. And I'm here with Michael Hogan of Missouri CleanSkies.org. And I'm here to try to help. Michael has been doing an awful lot of great work. He's a great organizer, and he's got a very important event coming up on Monday, I believe is the 30th. And so, Michael, this is just me trying to help you. Take the
Yeah.
floor and let everybody know what you want them to know.
Yeah, so we've been working for a while to get legislation here in the state of Missouri, and obviously, Mo Clean Skies. The Mo is for Missouri, and so we actually have two bills in the House. We actually have one in the Senate as well, but two bills in the House that are about to go to committee, and we just found this out yesterday. That's how it works, if you're part of this process, you kind of know that you're just at the will of the legislators. Their plans, they don't care what your plans are. It's just like, all right, Monday, here it is, and so give us about less than 4 days to prepare. But hey, I'm excited about it regardless. So we have House Bill 2388 and we have House Bill 2656. These are identical bills. One of them is through Representative Steve Jordan, and the other one is through Burt Whaley. And they're both co-sponsored by the House Speaker Pro Temp in the House and by a lot of other legislators as well. But we've been working on this for a while. Here it is, right after spring break, and they've finally given us a slot. So whether or not we're going to get this through in time, because we're getting really late in the session, is to be seen. But it's a really good major accomplishment just to get into committee. So where do we go from here? We're going to go on Monday. We're going to do our very best. We actually testified before the Senate committee. I guess that was back in February, and we really did. I felt like we did a really good job. The Senate, this is new to these legislators. It's kind of new as far as legislation is concerned, but it's pretty difficult to educate them when you have 3 minutes, right? I get up there and I have 3 minutes to tell the whole story about what we're doing. Of course, are they going to read the legislation? It's not more than 2 or 3 pages. So yeah, they should. But it's a challenge. I mean, we're having to really educate these folks about what it is we are talking about and what it is that we're not. I think the biggest issue is the fact, and you're part of this group with myself because of this fact, and that is we're trying to explain to them we're not talking about chemtrails, right? And we don't want these legislators coming in with this idea that oh, this is a conspiracy theory. So the first thing that I will say in my testimony is I'm going to squash that right off the bat and say that we're not talking about chemtrails versus contrails here. We are talking about the absolute facts. So I give them the goods. I give them the actual receipts, starting with the EPA, of course, Lee Zeldin. And if Lee Zeldin has come out and said that this is actually happening, which with regard to geoengineering and stratospheric aerosol injections, solar radiation modification, all the other things that go along with that, if he says it's actually happened and it's been funded by the government, I think that's pretty good information that it's actually true, right? Why would he say that if it's not true? In fact, it's even on the EPA website. So starting there, I think the EPA is at least somebody that they would consider, like they as in the legislators would consider to be a reputable place to start as far as facts, versus fiction. Whether we think that is a different story, but so that's where we start. We're going to kind of go in and explain that this is not conspiracy theory. These are the facts about geoengineering and also weather manipulation with regard to cloud seeding and any other types of forms of weather modification. So we have our work cut out for us. I definitely encourage people to participate in this process. And so go to our webpage at mocleanskies.org, and all of the details are there, including ways that you can contact committee members. It gives their phone number, their email address, things like that. So we want to be on the same page here because this is a very important piece of legislation. It's very confusing to begin with to the legislators. We want to keep it, understandable. We want to stay focused for the folks that are out there that want to get involved and want to, tell their expertise and their experience, I definitely will work with you and try to find a way to get your voice heard to the legislators.
We all share the same stratosphere. If
Yeah.
somebody is, putting something up in the sky in Ohio or California or China or wherever, it doesn't just stay there. It goes
Yeah.
everywhere on the planet. So you trying to get them to stop doing that in Missouri, if the weather patterns are blowing things to the east, everybody east of you should be happy that you are doing what you're doing. Now, there's there's a committee meeting um, in Jefferson City, the Capitol building in the basement, I believe. And so, for people who are within driving distance, Monday on the 30th of March, I definitely think you would appreciate warm bodies in the building.
Definitely. Yeah. In fact, when we had our Senate hearing, we had people waiting in the hallway. And that matters. Most of these hearings are, I would say they're probably for the most part not very well attended. And, it's because they give you no notice. They give you like a few days notice. And then people have, it's 3 hours for me to get there one way. So it's a pretty big commitment to just show up with very little notice. And so it really speaks volumes when you have people packing the room. There was standing room only. They actually had to kick us out, some of us out, and say, you can't stand, you have to stand outside. And if a seat comes available, then you can come and take that seat. So that made a difference for sure. I could tell with the committee chairman, he noticed that and he mentioned it and he gave us more time than he was wanting to, I think originally, because he knew the people are behind this. And that's really the important part of this is that these legislators need to understand the people, the masses are behind this and they need to hear from the people. They also need to know, like in the Senate, the Senate chairman, the committee chairman, I'll let them know this is not going to go away. You can't just sit on this. You can, but we're coming back. And this issue is we're never going to let this go. And the more the more you delay, the more people are going to get upset because we deserve to have clean air. We deserve to have clean food, clean water. And we know we're being contaminated already, and it's only going to get worse. And the other thing is our weather. Our weather patterns have been changing. Now, I'm not going to call that climate change. What I'm going to do is say the climate, agenda, the globalists are doing these programs to change the climate and use it for their own personal, to further their cause, right? They're saying, oh, climate change, and then they do these ridiculous things like stratospheric aerosol injection or cloud seeding or whatever you want to, whatever the issue is at that moment. And then they say, look, we told you you got baseball size hail now because of climate change, right? But we know for sure that the climate is being changed, right?
August 4th, as best I can find out, is the primary for the elections in Missouri, and obviously in November. So, one of the things that politicians understand, warm bodies in the room, but, hey, do you want my vote? Are you
Yeah.
going to listen to the people? And so, Michael, let me let you wrap it up. Give everybody the crystal clear details of what you want them to do, how to get a hold of you, and there's going to be a whole lot of information down below this video. People can get a hold of you. Donate to Mo Clean Skies. Help Michael. He's been doing a lot of work for about a year at least now, right? And so give everybody your final word.
So we need more and more people to get involved. We need you to get educated as well. And so listen, this movement, the geoengineering weather modification movement, has been sabotaged. I can come up with a lot of words for this, but just like any movement, this one may be special, but it's just like any movement, there's a lot of misinformation. I hate that word because it sounds, it's something that kind of triggers me, but there really are lies out there, and you can go down rabbit trails that will mislead you. And it doesn't do us any good if you're on the wrong path. Okay. So here's what I recommend. Go to James, follow James and look at his information. If you're already here, then you've already figured that out. But also go to mocleanskies.org, and we have allies and people that on our web page that you can trust, right? And so on our page, mocleanskies.org, you're going to learn a lot of information. We have a resources page there, and it answers a lot of questions about chemtrails and about this and that and fuels and versus, what versus stratospheric aerosol injections, things like that. But you just need to learn the truth, be open-minded, and really study the truth and learn it for yourself. Don't just take somebody's word for it. And then once you've learned the truth, then you know exactly who we need to go after to fix the problem. The thing is, I don't have time to mess around with this. This is not, I have a career, right? I have a business to run. I do not get paid a dime. Well, okay, I'll take that back. I did notice that we have $36.48 in our Facebook account after we've had 26 million views. Okay, so I'm making $36 if you want to call it that. But listen, we need to go after the correct sources to fix all of the above. We have to fix the issue with geoengineering stratospheric aerosol injections. We have to prevent globalist companies and governments that are planning to or already are spraying our stratosphere. That's a real threat to our future. We have to say no. That's where the state laws are coming in. Also, cloud seeding. We don't want cloud seeding. It has a history that goes back to Vietnam and before that. It's never produced anything good but bad. So we want to stop that. But we need to understand that there's also another problem that's involving the aviation industry. And if we don't fix that, then we can pass all the laws in all 50 states and still not see a single thing being done about the trails.
Michael, please tell everybody a little bit about your social media. I think most everything you have is all Mo Clean Skies, but you're on Instagram and Rumble and YouTube and True Social. And what did I miss?
So mainly Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube, Instagram. I think that's about it.
Okay.
There might be some more. I don't remember.
And
if you just go to our webpage, you'll see it there.
I encourage everybody who's watching this video, look down below in the article. Regardless of where you are, you can help. Click on the form so that you can get in contact with Michael, get educated, get clear on what's going on. If you really know what you're talking about and you really do want to help, we need your help. Michael needs your help. And so contact, part of everything is step number one is to identify who your allies are, make those connections. And then, you've been doing all the hard work. You've got the bills, in committee already. Now is the time. It's Friday the 27th as we're recording this, and the meeting is on Monday. So spread the word. If you can't do anything else, regardless of where you may live, share this video. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who lives around the corner from the Capitol building in Jefferson City, Missouri, and they can get their warm body up, off their couch or bed or whatever, and get there just to be there in support of all the hard work that Michael's been doing.
Yeah, it does make a difference. Like I said, they look in that room, they're going to ask who here is in favor and who here is not in favor, right? So it matters. If you have a lot of people raising their hands in favor, they're going to take note of that.
Michael, I wish you all the best, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you.